So let us start with the topic antihistaminic agents. So before start with the antihistaminic agents, let us understand what is histamines. So histamine basically it is known as a beta imidazole ethyl amines. Okay, so why it is called beta imidazole ethyl amines? So if we consider this is a amino group and this is a alpha carbon, this is a beta carbon. So on beta carbon, these imidazole ring is attached. So hence it is called beta imidazole ethyl amines. So basically it is synthesized from L-histidine amino acids by histidine decarboxylase enzyme. So this is an enzyme which is expressed in many mammalian tissues including gastric mucosa, peritoneal cell, mast cell as well as the basophils and CNS system. So let us understand by reactions how histidine could be converted into the histamine. So as I said that this is a structure of the histidine and this is a carboxylic acid which is removed by L-histidine decarboxylase enzyme. So as name indicate L-histidine decarboxylase, so this enzyme is responsible for removal of the CO2 group. So by these way decarboxylation process is occurred and histamine is synthesized. So this is how histamine is synthesized from L-histidine. Now, what is histamine? So, it is a basically endogenous substance synthesized and stored and released in first is a mast cell, which are abundant in skin, GI tissues as well as the respiratory tracts, basophils in bloods, and some neurons in CNS as well as the peripheral neuron nervous systems, and the involvement of the histamine in mediation of the immune as well as the hypersensitivity reactions and the regulation of the gastric acid secretions. So there are three main involvement of the histamine in our body. So first is mediation of the immune systems as well as the hypersensitivity reactions, and third one is a regulation of the gastric acid secretions, and due to that it has led to development of the important drug class useful in the treatment of the symptom associated with the allergic and gastric hypersecretory disorder. So basically in histamine there are four receptors are present: H1, H2, H3 and H4. The H1 receptor that is responsible for allergic reaction, hypersensitivity reactions, and for that the drugs are H1 receptor antagonists, which reduce the allergic as well as the hypersensitivity reactions, and H2 receptor that is involved in the hypersecretory or hypersecretion of the acid, where H2 receptor antagonists, which are used as anti-acidic drugs. Next is a nomenclature. So histamine, which is known as a 2-amino ethyl imidazole. So this is a imidazole ring. This is a fourth position. Sorry, here there is a mistake. It is not a 5 position, only fourth position. 2-amino ethyl. So fourth, the 2-amino ethyl, one and second carbon where amino group is attached, and whole ring is called imidazole ring. So in histamine, basically two main parts are there. One is a imidazole heterocycles, another is ethylamine side chains. And the methylene group of the amino ethyl side chain are designated as a alpha as well as the beta. So this is the carbon which is directly attached with the functional group. It is denoted as a alpha carbon, and next to alpha carbon which is called beta carbon, and the side chain attached by beta CH2 group. This is called beta CH2 group to the fourth position of the imidazole ring, and imidazole nitrogen at third position. So this is a imidazole nitrogen, and which is called unsaturated nitrogen, which is called pros nitrogen, or you can say N pi, and nitrogen which is attached at first positions, which is called tal nitrogen, which is represented as N tal. And these nitrogen, these amino group which is represented as a N alpha. Okay, so there are three basic nitrogens are there: N1 that is called N-tel nitrogens, N3 which is unsaturated nitrogen which is called pros nitrogen, and side chain amino group which is called N alpha. Now Generally, histamine are body exclusively, approximately 96.6%. It is available in monocationic conjugate forms at physiological pH. So this is two different tautomer of the histamine. So if you look at here, this is a one position, or this is called tal nitrogen, which is a saturated, but after tautomerizations, which is converted into the unsaturated nitrogen, and these nitrogen, it is protonated. This is called tautomerism process, and this is how monocation is formed in both the tautomeric form, this terminal amino group that is protonated, and how this is called monocationic species. And in acidic pH, at lower pH, we can say less than 7.4 pH, there are chances of the dicationic species. So one is this one, another is this nitrogen having a lone pair, and which is a protonated. This is how dicationic species is produced, but this is only possible at lower pH, where dicationic species are observed. And in water, the ratio concentration of the tautomer N tel H to N pi H, it has been calculated to 4.2, and that indicating the 80% of the histamine that is available in monocationic form as a N uh, tel H form, and 20% exist as a N pi H in aqueous solutions. Now, if you look at the SAR of the histamines, so these monocationic amino group NH3 plus, that is required for agonist activity at histamine receptor, and the uncharged histamine species that may contribute to diffuse the across cell membrane. So when these charged moieties are there, it cannot be diffused to cell membrane, but uncharged species that can be diffuse across the cell membrane. And other studies supported that N tel H tautomer of the histamines monocation is a pharmacophoric species. Now, pharmacophoric species, that means the group in particular structure which is responsible for the pharmacological activity, which is called pharmacophoric species. So N tel H system or N tel H tautomer of the histamine, which is considered as a pharmacophoric species as H1 receptor, and 1,3 tautomeric system, it is important for selective H2 receptor agonism activity. Now, if you look at the stereochemistry of the histamines, so basically there are two different conformational isomer are there. So one is a trans isomer where two bulky group are opposite to each other and the angle is 180-degree. And this is called another form which is called Gauch form, where two bulky group NH3 and imidazole ring are at 60-degree. So this is called Newman projections of the histamine, and this transform that is responsible for H1 and H2 receptor activity, and this gauge form is responsible for H3 receptor activity. This is the stereochemistry of the histamines. Now, as I said that there are four different types of the histamine receptor. H1 receptor, that is basically found in smooth muscle, endothelium as well as the CNS. And what are the function of these receptors? So that causes the vasodilation, bronchoconstrictions, bronchial smooth muscle contraction, separation of the endothelial cell, and pain and itching due to the insect stings. And the preliminary, these receptors are involved in allergic rhinitis symptoms as well as the motion sickness and sleep regulations. The H2 receptor basically present in gastric peritoneal style and which stimulate the gastric acid secretions, and for that we use anti-acidic drug, or we can say antacid for these receptor. H3 receptor, that is basically found in CNS system and lesser extent to it is found in peripheral nervous system, that decrease the neurotransmitter release like histamine, acetylcholine, norepinephrine and serotonins. And H4 receptor, it is preliminarily found in basophils and bone marrow, and sometimes it is also found in onthymus, small intestine, spleen and colons, and that plays important roles on chemotaxis. Now these are the how histamine receptors are made up. So H1 receptor, that is made up of 487 amino acids with 56 kilodalton molecular weight. H2 receptor that is made up of 359 amino acid with 40 kilodalton molecular weight. H3 receptor that is made up by 445 amino acid with 70 kilodalton molecular weight, and H4 receptor that is made up of 390 amino acids. And for H1 receptor, first and second generation antihistamines are developed. For H2, H2 blockers are also developed. But for H3 and H4 receptor, none of the drugs are there in market. Now, if you look at the first generations antihistamines, which is also called classical antihistamines. So basically, it is divided into the 6 different parts. One is a amino alkyl ether derivative. Second is ethylene diamine. Third is a piperazine, which is also called cyclizine. Next is propylamine, phenothiazine, as well as the dibenzocycloheptanes. Now let us see the first generations and SAR of the first generation antihistamine. So this is a general structure of the first generation antihistamine agents. So let us discuss first AR. So it must be aromatic group, and it includes the various phenyl ring, substituted phenyl group at fourth positions, and various heteroaryl groups such as 2-pyridyl group are there at the positions of the aryl in all first generation antihistaminic agents. Here dash, it should be aryl group as well as the aryl methyl, that means benzyl group are attached at AR dash positions. Then this NRR dash, so this is called NRR dash. It is a basic terminal amino functional group, and generally it has a dimethyl amino groups X. So this is the X positions. So at X position there should be a oxygen, carbon, as well as the nitrogen is present, and CH2N. So this is called CH2N that represent the carbon chain, and usually it is a ethyl. In some of the cases the propyl side chain is there. This is a general structure and general SAR of the first generation antihistaminic agents. So let us discuss in detail. First point is aryl ring system. So this diaryl substitution pattern present in both first as well as the second generation histamine, and that is the essential for significant H1 receptor affinity. So this diaryl substitution pattern which is required for H1 receptor binding affinity, and SAR studies suggest that two aryl moiety must be able to adopt non-coplanar conformations. So that you have to remember the two aryl ring that should be adopt the non-coplanar conformations relative to each other, and it is required for optimal interaction with the H1 receptor. So whenever the two aryl groups are there, so it should be arranged in such a way where both the ring are not a coplanar with each other. So which is called non-coplanar conformation, which is required for optimal interactions with the H1 receptor binding affinity. The two aromatic system may be linked as in tricyclic antihistamine, some of the cases where phenothiazine, dibenzocycloheptanes, heptanes, but again they must be a non-coplanar for effective receptor interactions. So in some of the structures where there are tricyclic systems, but again it should be non-coplanar for effective receptor interactions. And most of the H1 antihistamine contain the substituent one of the aryl ring, usually benzene ring, and these influence the histamine potency as well as the biodispositions. Okay, so most of the H1 receptor antihistamine drugs which contain the substitution at the benzene ring, and most probably at fourth positions, and most probably there are some substituent like halogens as well as the methoxy groups are there in the structures, and that is influence the histamine potency as well as the biodispositions. Uh, Next is SAR point which respond to terminal nitrogen amine, which is called dimethylamines. So basically dimethylamine moieties are there. The amine may be a part of the heterocyclic structure. So some of the drugs are there where this amine nitrogen, which is a part of the heterocyclic structure, that we'll discuss in later. like piperazine, some of the propylamine like pyrrolidine, piperidine, some of the phenothiazine, dibenzocyclohaptine, and second generation antihistamines, where nitrogen of the terminal amine, which is a part of the ring system. In all the cases, amino moiety is basic in nature, so it is protonated and which is bind to receptor site. So in previously, as I said, that monocationic species of the amine group that is required for activity. So in all of the cases, the amino group, it is basic in nature. Once it is basic in nature, so it can easily protonated, and this monocationic species can easily bind with the histamine receptor side, and this amine moiety is important for stable solid dosage form development through salt formations. Next is carbon chain. So the terminal nitrogen group and diaryl ring, it should be at 5 to 6 angstrom distance, which is required for activity, and branching on carbon chain result in the reduced antihistaminic activity. That's why if you look at the structures of each and every first generation antihistamine agents, where probably ethyl and propyl side chains are there and which is unbranched. Now let us discuss the structures of the first generation antihistamine, so which is called amino alkyl ether derivative, and another way it is called ethanolamine. So why it is called amino alkyl ether derivative? So this is a amino group, this is a alkyl group, and which is attached with the ether linkage. So these two alkyl group which is attached with the ether linkage, which is called amino alkyl ether derivative. Another way it is called ethanolamine. Now if you look at the structures, so first is a diphenhydramine where two aryl rings are there, two phenyl ring. Here carbon is there, ethyl side chain, and dimethyl amino group is there. So diphenhydramine and dimenhydrinate both are the similar structure. So if you look at the structure, so it has a similarity with diphenhydramines. But what is change in dimenhydrinate? So in dimenhydrinate, here 8-chlorotheophylline salt form is there. Here only hydrochloric salt is there. So it is a difference between these two. Now in structure of diphenhydramines, if bromine is introduced at fourth position of the second ring, then it's a structure of bromodiphenhydramines. This is the structure of doxylamines. So if you look at the structure of diphenhydramine, where this aryl ring is replaced by the pyridine ring, two pyridyl system, and this carbon, which is instead of hydrogen of the diphenhydramine, it is replaced by methyl group. That gives a structure of doxylamine. Next is carboxamines. So in carboxamine, here fourth position of the first aryl system, there is a chlorine, and second aryl system that is replaced by two pyridyl groups. So this is a changes with respect to diphenhydramines and diphenyl pyridine hydrochlorides, where nitrogen is a part of the ring system, as I said. So basically there are, instead of ethyl, three carbon chain are there, propyl chain are there. Okay, so distance between this carbon of the dibenzyl aryl group and nitrogen, it is again in between 5 to 6 angstrom, but the carbon chain that would be increasing from ethylene to propylene. So these all are the structures of the amino alkyl ether derivative. In another language we can say ethanolamines. Now let us discuss the drug one by one. So first is diphenhydramine hydrochlorides. So this is a structure of diphenhydramine hydrochloride and Benadryl syrup, where this diphenhydramine is active constituent. So let us understand the IUPAC nomenclature of diphenhydramine. So 2-diphenyl methoxy, that means this is biphenyl system which is called diphenyl, and CH2O which is called methoxy. This is a first carbon, this is a second carbon. So at second carbon, 2-diphenyl methoxy group is attached, then N and dimethyl, and this whole two carbon chain containing nitrogen which is called ethanamine. Okay, again I am repeating. So this is the second positions. On second position, two diphenyl methoxy groups are attached, so which is called 2-diphenyl methoxy. Then N and dimethyl, so these two are the methyl group, and this whole chain is called ethanamine. So in addition of the antihistaminic effect, this diphenhydramine also exhibit antidyskinetic, antiemetic, antitussive, antimuscarinic as well as the sedative properties. And if these nitrogen, if these tertiary nitrogen, if it is converted into the quaternary ammonium salt, that doesn't alter the antihistaminic action, but increase the anticholinergic actions. Okay, so if you look at the structure of the acetylcholine, so where nitrogen is a quaternary. Okay, so same way this nitrogen of the diphenhydramine, if one more group is attached, so then it is converted into the tertiary to quaternary nitrogens, which is called quaternary ammonium salt, which doesn't alter the antihistamine effect greatly, but that increase the anticholinergic actions. Next is diphenhydrinate. So as we discussed that it is the same like diphenhydramide, but it is called 8-chlorotheophylinate. This is a theophylline molecule, and this is a chlorine at 8 positions. So which is called 8-chlorotheophylinate, which is called thioclate salt of the diphenhydramines. And it is recommended for nausea of the motion sickness and for hypermensis gravidum. So hypermensis gravidum, that means nausea during the pregnancy. So it is a drug of choice during the hypermensis gravidum. So that you have to remember. Next is a bromodiphenhydramine hydrochloride, where there is a change at 4th position in the diphenhydramine. So again, this is a second, this is a first. So on second, 4-bromophenyl, this is called 4-bromophenyl, and this is called phenyl methoxy. So 4-bromophenyl, phenyl methoxy, then N dimethyl ethanamine. Okay. So this is how you can give a nomenclature to first generation antihistamine agents, and which is active constitute of ambrodryl hydrochlorides. This drug is more lipid soluble, and it was twice as effective in protecting against the lethal effect of the histamines aerosols. Next is doxylamine succinate, where this pyridine ring is there. So in these IUPAC nomenclature, this is called alpha positions, where attached with the functional group, and this is called 1 and 2 positions. So that's why 2, then alpha, again 1 and 2 positions. So 2 dimethylamino. So this is 2 dimethylamino. Then this is ethoxy, OCH2CH2, which is called ethoxy. At alpha position there is a methyl group, and this is whole is called benzyl group, and last is the pyridine bisuccinate. So again I am repeating, 2 positions. So we are pyridine, it is act as a suffix. So first and second positions, this is next to functional group called alpha positions. So 2, then alpha, again 2. So this is 1 and 2 positions. So 2 dimethylamino. So this is called dimethylamino. Then ethoxy, that means this is the ethoxy. Then alpha methyl. So this is alpha methyl. This whole is called benzyl group, alpha methyl benzyl, and last is pyridine. So by these way you can give a nomenclature to doxylamine, and basically it is used to relief of the seasonal rhinitis symptom, but it is also used as a nighttime sedative. And concurrent use of the alcohol and other CNS depression, it should be avoided when you are taking the doxylamine drugs. Next is carbinoxamine maleate. So it is the same structure like doxylamine, but here chlorine is there, and this carbon is attached with hydrogen, while in case of doxylamine there is a alpha methyl group is there. So this is IUPAC nomenclature, and it is a potent antihistaminic, and it is basically available in racemic mixer form. That's why I have written DLL form. So basically it is available in racemic mixer form, and it differs the structure from the chlorphenramine only in having the oxygen atom separate the asymmetric carbon atom from the amino ethyl side chains. So if you look at here, this is a structure of the chlorphenramine. So here oxygen is there, okay, but it is absent in the chlorphenramine. And the more active levoisomer of the carbenoxamine. So instead of in carbenoxamine, levoisomer is more active compared to dextroisomer, and it should be at as configuration, which is called sinisters, and it can be superimposed on the more active dextroisomer of the chlorphenramine, which also having a as configuration. So here important point is in carbenoxamine, which is a more active isomer, so levoisomer, and what is the absolute configuration of the levoisomer? So which is as configurations, and it can be superimposed on the more active dextroisomer of chlorpheneramine. So which isomer of the chlorpheneramine is active? So dextroisomer of the chlorpheneramine is active, and levoisomer of the carbenoxamine and dextroisomer of the chlorpheneramine, both having a identical as configuration in its structures. Next is a clemastine fumarate. So here if you look at the structures, so where nitrogen, which is a part of the ring system, and here pyrrolidine ring is present, okay, pyrrolidine ring. It has a two chiral center, one at here, another at here. It has a long duration of actions, and it is closely related to chlorphenoxamine, which is used for its central cholinergic blocking activity. So this is the structure of the clemistine. Next is a diphenyl pyrrolene hydrochlorides. So diphenyl pyrrolene hydrochloride, which is also called 4-diphenyl methoxy. So why it is 4? So numbering start from here. This is a piperidine ring system. Second, third, and fourth. So on fourth position, this is called diphenyl, and this is called methoxy. So that's why diphenyl methoxy. At one position there is a methyl group, so one methyl, and at the end piperidine. This ring is called piperidine ring system, and it is available in hydrochloride salt. This is how diphenpyrrolene hydrochloride. So in exam student questions like which of the following ethanolamine derivative where nitrogen that is a part of the ring system, that such kind of questions might be asked in various competitive as well as your routine examinations. So diphenpyrrolene is structurally related to diphenhydramine, where amino alkyl side chain is incorporated into the piperidine ring, and it is a potent antihistamine. So if you look at the structure of diphenhydramines and diphenpyrrolamine, here nitrogen that is a part of the ring system, here nitrogens that is a free nitrogens. So student, we should stop at here.